Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Sisterhood Checkin. I am your host, Nadira Lewis, and it is Friday. I'm excited to be able to spend my Friday with you awesome people. And I'm just excited to be able to start this weekend off. And there's just so many things that I just want to talk about, so many things I want to discuss. But before I do that, I want to take some time to talk to if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching us on Facebook, please hit like and share if you have been blessed by the content that you have been hearing thus far. So I'm excited about my guest today, Kayla Kravitz, the confidence coach. I'm excited because Kayla is amazing. Kayla's quiet, but she has such a presence about her that just there's so much authority in just her quietness and in her presence. And you guys are going to get to be a part of that. You guys are going to have the opportunity to get to know Kayla and know how Kayla has gotten to where she is. So I'm excited to be able to bring her up. But before I do that, I wanted to read this scripture. I've had a lot of things on my heart the past couple of days, and I've been really kind of like in intercessory mode because I've been reading the Facebook posts and I've been just thinking about so many people dear to my heart. And so I just wanted to kind of just read this really quick. And I really hope that this encourages you. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Okay. So 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. It says, but we have this treasure in earthly vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. We are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. Always carrying about in the body of the dying of the Lord Jesus, that the life of Jesus may be manifested in our body. For we who live are always delivered to death for Jesus' sake, that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our mortal flesh. So then death is working in us, but life in you. And I know this particular with this particular scripture, it's referring to the disciples and what we're dealing with. They were ministering the gospel all across the world. But I want you to think about it, because the Bible is there for correction and for reproof and for doctrine. So the examples that we have in the Bible are for us to be able to think about, to meditate, and look at the lessons that God is showing us in the word. So I want you to take that, and I want you to think about, as I was reading that earlier, I just was thinking about a couple of people that actually came to my mind. And I know sometimes when we're going through things and we suffer loss, or when we suffer persecution, or any type of thing that happens in our life, it can be overwhelming. It can be sometimes devastating. But I want you to know that though we might be perplexed and though we might deal with things, that God is still there present. He is an ever-present help. And I know that that sounds easier said than done, but I did a video on YouTube, and I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but if you haven't, make sure you go to my YouTube channel and watch it. Or if you're a part of the Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Clinic, make sure you watch it there also. But I was talking about our mindset and how important it is to guard. Proverbs 4:23 told us to guard our heart with all diligence, because from it flows the issues of life. And so sometimes we have to guard our heart, and our heart is where the seat of our mind, will, and emotions are. And so we have to make sure. It doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge the things that are affecting us. It means that we are taking captive the things that are the things that come, the thoughts that come through our mind that are there, that come to destroy us. It means when you take the opportunity to hold those thoughts captive, I don't care what it is. That means that when you hold those thoughts captive, you stop them, those words, from gaining the type of control that it wants to have over your life. So if discouragement wants to come in and cause you to be upset and overwhelmed, then what's happening is it's a sign that your outside life is ruling your inside. And we want to get to a point to where we allow the things that are on the inside of us to dictate the things that go on the outside of us. So don't allow whatever it is that you're going through to dictate how you respond. Because there's one thing I said in my book, and I said, you are in control of two things in your life. You may not be able to control every single thing that happens in your life, but you're in control of two things. You're in control of your perspective, and you're in control of your response. So if you can just hold on to that, no matter what you're going to, know that God is an ever-present help and that he's there to help you. He's there to guide you. He said that he has given us the Holy Spirit as the comforter. So I really want you to take this opportunity and really lean into what Kayla and I are going to discuss today, and really trust God, because the trying of our faith works patience. Patience doesn't come any other way. Patience is the only fruit of the Spirit that has to be perfected in the midst of a trial. So I just wanted to kind of encourage you with that. I hope you guys enjoy the broadcast. But before I introduce Kayla, I want to encourage you with one more thing, and we'll be back with our guest, Kayla, after this. Hey, and we are back with my special guest, Miss Confidence Coach Kayla Kravitz. Woo! Welcome to Sisterhood Checkin. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful, and I'm excited to be able to have you here as a first-time guest. Guys, she is Kayla. If you haven't watched Dinner with the Coaches, Kayla is one of the coaches on the Dinner with the Coaches. So make sure you watch us Sunday to listen in as Kayla helps us in helping us to coach the people that are watching. But Kayla, today we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about you. You are, even in the community that we're a part of, you've always been very quiet. You have such a beautiful presence about you that is attracting, that's just emanates love oozing out of you. And I know from personal experience that sometimes the smiles that we have on our face come with a price. I know that sometimes that peace that we have comes with a price. And as I said earlier, that though sometimes we may be perplexed and we're not overtaken, though we may deal with things in life, we are not destroyed. So talk to my audience and tell us about who you are and how did you become the woman that you are today?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me in here, right? And the story, it's always like hard to talk about me, let's say. I always want to talk about other people. And when it comes to myself, I prefer to be still and like just observing other while they're talking. Mm-hmm. So I guess today I'm in the hot chair.
You're in the hot seat.
Hot seat. I am in the hot seat. But yeah, so I am Kayla Kravitz, and I born in South May, Principe. If you guys don't know where is it, it's like a small island in the Gulf of Guinea. And even though if you go like in Africa and the Gulf of Guinea, you need to be zooming out a little bit to check where exactly it is. So I left my country when I was 17, and I moved to Portugal because my grandma, she believed that I wouldn't have a future there, especially because my dad passed away when I was 13. So wow. She decided that I would be having like a better future in Portugal. So she arranged everything with my uncle, and I was able to move to Portugal. And believe me, I was super excited to be able to travel, especially because it was my first time traveling. And for me, in my mind, like abroad would be something like a super extraordinary for the girl who has a vision in the small island and always wandering beyond the horizontal line, asking myself like what is like the possibility that is out there wait for me, what are the things that I would be able to see and experience. So I was super excited. And when I arrived in Portugal, I was like, okay, I was that this is not bad. However, I wasn't expecting what I saw because I was seeing the movie, so my perspective was like a way much further, way more like extraordinary, and I was a little bit disappointed for what I said. But in compared to my island, it was like a huge. It was different. The people, the relationship, because in where I born, everyone like ended up knowing each other, so there is no way to escape because there is no way to escape, everyone know about everybody, so it's like a really small. And if you just like your mom slap you, the whole neighborhood will know about it. So it's like a small thing. You know?
So you get a
It's
whooping, I get a whooping.
exactly right. But yes, and my second disappointment was like about the beach, because when I get in Portugal was winter, and it was November, and the summertime is like around starting in April with the spring, and then like middle of August was like and then 49-degree. And my auntie just say let's go to the beach, and I was like excited because I'm going finally to the beach. I was missing it so much. And when I get there, there wasn't like a palm tree in the beach. I was like hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, it's totally different. And I was expecting to see the same like I have in the island, like a palm tree and coconut and all this crazy stuff, and it wasn't nothing like that. And I was like, okay, it's different. Let's accept the difference and move on. So I was excited to get in the water. I was just running, and once I got in the water, I just get stuck because the water was like really cold.
Wow.
Yes, even though the weather was like hot outside, like a super hot, the water was cold, and I was like, oh my god, I wouldn't be able to swim in this beach. And it was like since then until now, if I go to Portugal, I will just put my feet in the water, but I wouldn't like dare to dare to try the water.
Wow.
But it is my opinion. It's myself. Doesn't mean like the water over there is like that bad, because the people enjoying and they say the water is. I guess I was traumatized for the first time. I decided to stop right there. You know? But yeah, I was able like to start building the friendship and move from there. But one thing that happened is when I got there, my Portuguese wasn't that great, even though my island was like ex-colonial from Portugal, and we do speak Portuguese, but the level of my Portuguese wasn't that great. And I was starting year 9 in the school, and my teacher just told my uncle that maybe I should be doing the course of selling because it's much easier with the level of Portuguese that I have. I should be going that direction, not try to dare to do anything else because, I don't speak Portuguese very well. And with that in mind, I was like, but I don't want to do this course. I want to do this course. And funny enough is like and then I had my friends, and they was like super exciting because they was going to change the school, and they will be doing like a course, and we are talking about the high school, by the way.
Mhm.
And they will be able to do this amazing course that they choose. And I was like, but I don't have an option. What's going on over here? Why shouldn't I choose the course as well? So what happened was, my friend, she was just saying, you know what, I will be changing the school, I will be doing the tourism course, and that's it, and I will move from that. I was like, oh, Sasha, believe I will do the same. I just moved the school. I transferred myself out because I was 18 by that time. So I transferred myself out. I changed like the course. My uncle didn't know about it. He just found out like 6 months
Well, he's
later.
gonna know now. He's gonna know now because if he's watching in the
No,
UK,
no,
if he's
like
watching in the UK, he's gonna know now.
so I did not. He just found out like 6 months later, and he was like, "How dare you?" I was like, "But I didn't choose to do this course of sales, and why should I? You should give me opportunity to try harder to learn and to improve my Portuguese, rather than say this is the
Mm.
direction that." I believe you should do it because your level of Portuguese is not that great, you
He
know.
was see you was being prepared for closing like a leader already early. You was being prepared.
I should
You,
be.
you was,
Absolutely, absolutely. But I choose the totally different direction. So, and no sales course. And it was funny enough because I did this course, and I had like a great score for the course that I choose. But I didn't find like a job in Portugal.
Mhm.
And my auntie, she invited me to come to the UK. And again, so you pass the barrier to improve the Portuguese, and then you think about yourself, okay, so now you're gonna be stepping into different like different zone, because my English in the school was just to have this 10 score out of like a 0 to 20 just to pass. So now I have to come to England. I need to speak English. So whole different challenge again. So, but I decided to come anyway because I was like, look, you are still young and you can
Mhm.
learn the language. You did with Portuguese, you improve a lot. So you can do the same. Right. So I did came to England, but what happened is I went to work on the chocolate factory when I arrived because my English was poor, and I just set up to myself like whatever I'm set myself to do, I
Mhm.
will do
Mhm.
100% because this is what
Absolutely.
my mom always told me. She said you need to study if you
Mhm.
want to become somebody, or at least give your best in the job you do. With that in mind, I never had like a career that say I have a dream to fulfill that career. If
Mhm.
I would say to somebody I want to become a doctor, is because my friend was just saying that, and
Mm.
I want to fit in, I would say
Right.
the same. So I didn't have like my own dream, so I was lead for the people choices and they dream. So basically I was leaving other
You were a
people to,
follower. Yeah, yeah.
I was following them. So yes, in the chocolate factory, they invite me to become like a permanent, and I
Mm.
accept because I was like, okay, I'm not speaking English very well, but they are seeing something on myself, so maybe I should accept. And but that time I also had the decision to study. I was like, but I want to improve
Mm.
myself because even though I don't have like a dream career, I want to have a job that pay well, at least for live like a better life. And
Mm-hmm.
what happened is I accepted the job and I put the school aside because the bills had to be paid. And with that,
Them bills are faithful, aren't they? Them bills are faithful, aren't they?
absolutely, absolutely, they wouldn't stay over there waiting for me. Funny enough, yes. And the year was passing by, and I was like accepting this working in factory, in the chocolate factory, and say not seeing much like coming out from it. I'm not seeing myself like developing or growing in anywhere. I was like a kind of accepting that life as my reality. And
Mm.
this was I was like a little bit closing myself in the box, like I
Mm.
start pushing myself like to be behind the curtain. I was like pushing my, instead of like saying I have a dream and I want to become somebody. I was like accept what it is in that time. And
Mm.
with that in mind, I met the father of my son, and was amazing in the beginning, was phenomenal, and I get pregnant like really quick.
Mm.
And he was like, maybe you should take it out, and I was like, maybe not, because I never got pregnant, so why should I do that?
Yeah.
And I decided go ahead with my pregnancy. And
Yeah.
he was like he wanted to move away, and then he changed his mind and decided to stay. With staying, I was living in shadow because I was no longer happy, because
Mm.
everything was like a moving according to him.
Mm.
I would say my pregnancy wasn't like the happy, wasn't at all the happy moment. I didn't had like a one picture of myself when I
Oh,
was,
wow.
so it was like a really hard moment of my life. And I start to like lose my confidence, losing my self-worth, and closing the box and pushing back over and over. So when I had to face like some challenges, I was hiding instead of fighting for it. I was hiding. And with the 3 months old, my son became 3 months old, and he decided to move out. So it was like the hardest moment, because I was first time mom
Right, right.
and become single mom. I was like, am I capable enough to take care of my son alone? Am I capable to pay the bills and handle all the challenge that may be arising? I didn't know what to do. I was becoming like a stress,
Mm.
anxiety. There was night that I wanted to scream. I was
Mhm.
like feeling breathless. I was like,
Mm.
I I don't like to go back to that place. I don't
Mm.
like to go back to that place
I
because
understand.
it is hard, because I close myself in the box. In that, when I say the box is in the darkness for four
Mm.
years, because I was in the hope that he would come back, you know,
Mm.
so that the thing would be changing.
Mm.
But he decided to move on straight away. And every time the year was passing by, and I was telling myself, now maybe the relationship that he's in will like end, and he will be able to come back.
Mm.
Maybe. And it was in this maybe and if over and over, when I realized it was 4 years passing by, and I was like no confidence. Where was my self-worth?
Mm.
Zero.
Mm.
To be able to be in here and talk with you is like a huge step.
Mm.
because before I didn't had this like confidence to be coming here and speak. I would hide. Like I said,
Mm.
I didn't have this power to fight back. I was just like a, all right, maybe no, turn my back
Mm.
and move move around. So this was a little bit of me. And when my son became 9 months old, I had to go back to work, and was the struggle to find the work who was like able to take care of him and work and pay the
Mm.
bill. So when I found the job, I found this corporate job that I'm still on, but at the moment I'm doing part time, is that they was able to provide that flexibility of in the time. They was asking like providing for to pay the school for you if you want to study, and they was offering like a career progression. So this was like a little bit of light on the end of the tunnel. I was like, okay, this I will be able to provide my son, and maybe just uh, grow up in the companies, have like
Mm.
a better job.
Right.
But what was happening is because of my level of confidence was so low, every job I was applying for, I was getting no. I was getting
Mm.
no. On the time, I didn't know that the confidence was the reason behind me getting all the no. I was like, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not capable enough, even though I
Mm.
was doing this, going 200 miles per hour.
Mm.
They still didn't saw this brilliance. They still didn't saw the my potential, my value in the company to give me the job. So every time I was applying the job to succeed or to get better position, I was getting no.
Mm.
So I will start to feel frustrating. I will start to going back to the box until
Mhm.
I remember, girl, you know what? It was already 4 years in the box, and you definitely don't want to go back there.
Mm.
Time to change.
Yeah.
It's time to take control of your life and change. And then I remember when I was child, I always wanted to be my own boss, even though I don't have this dream career, but I wanted to be my own boss. And with that, it came back. Like
Mm.
it's time for you to show the world your greatness, because if they don't see the value on yourself, on your job, on the job that you are doing, maybe you can knock another door and the door will be open, because there is this thing, you are knocking the close the door,
Mhm.
and the next door is just open, wait for you with amazing opportunities. So I start to search, I start to look, I start to find what could be the possibility for me. And I was like, what is the business I need? What can I do? You start to asking, what am I good at? What are my
Mm.
skills? And
Mhm.
I didn't know what I was good at, because I didn't know
Mm.
my value. I was like,
Mm.
remember when my ex-partner left me, the last thing he said to me, you will be nobody. I was
Mm.
believing that I will be nobody, you know.
Mm.
So this, like his voice was stuck in my mind, like you will be nobody. So when I
Mhm.
was start to check, I was like, but I'm not good at anything, you know. So what are you trying to do? You don't have any skills, you don't have any degrees, so where are you
Right.
planning to go? So those conversations start to come in, and I was insisting, look for it, and came the coaching thing. But again, it's like I who will you coach? You don't know nothing about the business, first of all, plus coach. So I stop it. I stop it and accept the job, carry on trying again, trying to give 200 a mile to see if they could see the potential on me. And when the COVID came, it was like the last time I applied for the job, and I asked for the feedback on the interview, and the lady was like, "Your interview was good, but somebody else was better than you." I was like, "You know what?
Wow.
I'm done with this."
Wow.
You know, is the universe just telling you, change the road, just change. This door is already closed, just move out. Come on. Was
Wow.
that? I was like, your interview was good, but you wasn't like, basically she was saying you wasn't good enough,
Mm.
isn't it? But I didn't take it personal. I just take it like this is a chance for me to change. This is a chance for me to actually do something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I was checking again, and the coaching thing just came up again. I was like, you know, what is this? Is
Right.
the
It's amazing.
coaching.
It's amazing because when I had different ideals
Mhm,
and about coaching, because it wasn't something that I heard on a regular basis. It wasn't something I was too familiar about, but I knew that it was something that I was already doing naturally. I just didn't know that it had a name to it. And, as we go through, different transitions, different trends and things that we go in life, we realize that
mhm,
the stuff that we are doing in our career, we've been doing all along. It's just that we just have just decided to put a name to it, to
mhm,
identify it. And it's amazing when I think of you as a confidence coach, looking at most people, and I'm not going to say that most people don't realize it, because I think we do, that our mindset and how we see things, right, is all based on perspective, right? So our perspective is always formulated by our experiences and by the things that we go through in our life. It can either mold us into a fearful person. It can mold us reject. And it's crazy because fear and rejection is so rooted in to not having the confidence, because we fear this person is going to like us, this person is going to approve of us, because a part of us, there's always the need for validation, the need for feeling worthy, the need for feeling like you're loved, the need of feeling appreciated. And it starts when you start to develop different types of relationships in the beginning, even romantic relationships. It can affect you, especially if it turns out to be a really bad relationship.
mhm,
And it can really affect how you see things. When I was married in my first marriage, I was young. I met my husband when I was 17 years old and had my first kid at almost 18. I was pregnant at 17 and I had her at 18, and I didn't know anything. Only thing I knew is what I was learning and what I was exposed to, and what I was continuously exposing myself to. And my confidence and my self-esteem was, and I've always been a very bright person, always smiling, always happy, always excited. But I was also the type of person that it didn't take very much to break me, to break my confidence. If you would tell me something and I perceived it to be true, it would almost utterly destroy me, because
mhm,
I didn't look at it as this is something that has happened, and but you can grow from that. Because most of the time when I was receiving criticism, I wasn't receiving the criticism, I wasn't receiving the balance of what you're doing wrong, but let me tell you what you can do to improve it. Let me tell you what you are doing right to balance. So most of the negativity that turned into rejection in my life is basically me feeling like, oh, I'm never good enough. I'm not good enough. And when you hear something repetitively, when you hear that you're not good enough repetitively, eventually anything you hear over and over again, you start to perceive it, even if you know deep down it's not true. You will begin to take on the format of that thing, because you hear it so much, you start to identify with it, which is why it's important for us to take captive every thought into the obedience of Christ, because there's thoughts that go through our mind all day long, be it somebody told us or just stuff just, subconsciously just being there. And I love the fact that you said that you didn't allow it to hold you back, that you use that, that though it may have put you in a box for a season, you started to take that moment. And I think most people, what I want them to realize is that once you realize or come into awareness that, yes, this is where I am, and you take inventory, this is where I am, but you know what? I'm not going to stay here. And that motivation to be better, to do better, is what's going to be your roadmap and your encouragement to get you through it. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you mentioned, it's just a season, and the perspective and your surrounding will be telling you, leading you to the path. So
Mm.
mine was like I didn't saw any exit, and I wasn't asking for help as well because I thought my problem wasn't like a big deal.
Yes, don't
Why
we
should I
all?
ask for help? You know, it's like somebody else in the world has like a worse problem than mine, and mine is just a little one. I
Mhm,
will just keep smiling if somebody asks me, "Are you all right?" I am fine. While I'm
mhm,
dying inside, how many
mm,
people go through this situation, feeling
mm,
like a really stressed, anxiety, feeling depressed, but if somebody asks them, "How are you doing?" they will say, "I'm doing fine." Just keeping this smile on the face,
mhm,
just to not show the people or this person how they are feeling, because they
mhm.
believe that they are weak by
Right,
exposing what they are feeling in the moment. This is what I was thinking, that I was like, if I tell my problem, I am weak. If I'm crying in front of people, I
right.
am weak. Those like
Absolutely.
those
Because
things
when you
come
be
to
when
mind.
you because it's almost like when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, or you make yourself vulnerable to to people, whether they're close to you or not, it's always the fear of, are they going to look at me differently because
Mm.
I have gone through this? Are they going to see me as incompetent? Are they going to see me as, because you might appear to be one way in their eyes, and you might fear that, oh my gosh, if they know this about my life, they're gonna, and they see the inside things that I struggle with, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna judge me like this, and they're gonna see me a different way. And sometimes that's the issue. We allow other people to build our esteem about how we feel about ourselves. And when you get to the point where, and I think sometimes just going through life, you start to learn that, wait a minute, I do have, there are some things that are happening as I begin to mature. There are some things that are changing my perspective about how I see me. I am important. I do have a voice. I can impact people's lives. And yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think is that because for me, what people was telling me is like oh my God, you are so good at motivating others. I was
Mm,
like, motivating others, but I was just like ignore. How come I'm motivating anybody? Okay, I would be just telling you some word of encouragement, like, girl, you
mm,
can do it and stuff like that. But for me, this was like a normal. It's like I want everybody
mm.
to feel energized, to feel like a
Right.
positive. I want everybody to be able to smile because life is hard, but we don't need to be facing it that way. The smile will keep it light. Doesn't mean that you are faking or you are ignoring your problem. Just simple, make it light. You are making yourself lighter. So that's
Mm,
why I was like just doing like encouraging people, say, girl, you can do it. You know what? So I remember like my colleague in the work, they were saying, oh, I am in the gym, I want to lose some weight. And I was just telling, girl, you know what? You can do it and stuff like that. I was doing this like even not
mhm,
noticing that I already was like in
mm,
the coaching path. So when
mm,
I was searching for like the business that I could open, the coaching came again. I was like I wouldn't deny it anymore. So I will just
mm.
grab the opportunity. This is when the COVID came, and I say, that's it. It's time for me to step
Mm.
in and do something for myself and for my son. And in the first time was like is to show my ex-partner that I can do it, even though he said that I will be
Mm.
nobody. But for me now it is different. It's not for him anymore. It's like
Right.
he don't need to be my why. It no longer is my why. So my why is
Mhm.
myself, to leave a
Mhm.
legacy, to when I go from this world, the people will remind about me. This is what I
Mhm.
want. This is to be able to give my son the freedom, opportunity that I didn't have, because
Right.
I born in the small island, he didn't. So he has all these opportunity in his hand, and
Mhm.
he can do better than I done, but I will be able to provide him. So that's why.
Absolutely. Kayla, we're going to take a quick break. For thank you guys for joining us. I hope put in the comments where you're watching from. We've gotten so much engagement so far, and I'm going to go ahead and after we take a break and acknowledge you all that have taken time to engage with us here on Sisterhood Check-in. We ask that you just come back with us. Don't go anywhere. Go get your coffee. Go call your girlfriend and say Sisterhood Check-in is on. And we are, let me tell y'all something. I'm excited because Kayla is in the UK. Sisterhood Check-in is in the UK. Can you say holla? You know, Kayla, it's funny. Before I go to commercial break, when we do the dinner with the coaches, and when I was picking out the song, and it was like when it said I'm taking it to the world, I specifically had that part shown at your face because I was like,
Wow.
Kayla's in the UK. Hey, Sister Kiefer's and dinner with the coaches is in the UK. Oh my God, that alone is like, wow, who would have ever known? See, if we don't take the opportunity to allow ourselves to be exposed to new things and new people, we would never be able to see the blessing in the connection. Who would have ever thought, Kayla, that I would be sitting here on Sisterhood Check-in talking to you all the way? It's 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK.
Almost 4 o'clock I am.
3 o'clock in the morning. Who would have ever thought that this day that we would be having a conversation about you and your life and who you are? I would have never imagined that. And when I think about it, there's something, it's amazing that when we begin to take steps towards the things of God and the things that God has set before us, we will be amazed at the things, the people that we meet and the things that we're able to do. I had no idea the thing that I was able to do, the things that I was able to do. I knew I wanted to do something and be something. And I knew I wanted to change people's lives, but I didn't know how. And I didn't, and I just wanted, it was just something that I wanted to do. I didn't care. I didn't care about, where, if it was going to be a whole lot of people or one people. And it's just, I was just excited just to be in the number, how some people say, just to be in the number. I was just finally glad to see that my life, that I was born for something besides a teenage mom. I was so excited to be able to feel like there is purpose to my life outside of a failed marriage. That there was purpose that I had planned for me besides all of my failures, all of the things that I had endured. And to know that, it's funny because I was thinking about the scripture in what was it, First Corinthians chapter 2, and it says but howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the world unto glory, which none of the prince of this world knew. For had he known, they would have not crucified the Lord of glory. There are some things that God has put on the inside of us. There are some hidden treasures that are on the inside of us. And that's why I go back and I always watch when we talked about unpacking your gift. if we took the time to spend less time thinking about things that we're not great at, thinking about things that we failed at, and think about the things that we are good at, think about the things that we are capable of doing, you will be surprised how it will first change your mental state. And when you change your mental state, it changes your perspective. And when it changes your perspective, it changes your response. And when it changes your response, then you know there is confidence. That confidence comes because you start to identify with the person on the inside, and you realize, though that I've had these things happen in my life, it didn't alter the plan of God for my life. It didn't change. I'm still doing and fulfilling the things that God has already planned, because he said his thoughts about me are good and not evil. So it doesn't matter if you think evil or ill will towards me, because his thoughts about me are good.
Absolutely.
Are good. And we're going to be right back. Are you guys having an amazing time? Oh my gosh, we have such internet says it. I had to begin to tell myself that I am valuable, and that value is not depreciated by things that happen to me or by things that I experience. Absolutely. And Charmaine says she is viewing from Texas. Hey, Charmaine.
Thank you.
Yes, we can. We are. I'm telling you, it is amazing. It's amazing how when you get around different people and you begin to evolve, you begin to, and it's funny because we talked about it on unpacking your gift, how there's certain gifts you're able to unpack on your own. Right. There are some gifts you could take the bow tie and the ribbon off and you can unpack it. There are some gifts that you need special tools for, right? You might need it when you go into Walmart and you buy those, especially the electronic section where the plastic is so thick, you almost have to like literally like lift weights just to be able to take the plastic off. You got to get a knife, you got to get a machete and everything else just to get a little remote or a little something really small. And it's the same way with our gift. There are some gifts that being around certain people, it begins to unlock certain things about you. And you start to realize, they begin to pull certain things out of you that you didn't even realize, or you had to sometimes step out your body and be like, who that said? Not who said that, who that said? Who that said? And then there are some gifts that have to be professionally unpacked. Right. And it is the same way I believe that when you begin to interact with different people and different environments and different causes different things to come out of you. And you realize, wow, I didn't even know that was even there. I didn't even know that I even was like this, or that I had the ability to do that. And I think that's what's happened with you. You've learned, you've been in different environments. You've been to Portugal. Girl, it was almost like you were like living in a military family. You'd have been to Portugal. Now you're living in the UK. You've had to adapt. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. And oh yeah, she said yes. And Deb said, thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Deb. Thanks for joining us. But guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with our guests. Are you guys enjoying this? Put a yes in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. If you just happen to be up in the UK at 3:00 in the morning.
Exactly.
Make sure you put a comment in the chat, or if you are watching the replay, make sure you put #replay, and we'll be back after this.
I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I wake.
Have you downloaded your Wisdom Digital Planner and Journal? If not, it's still time. Shop now at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com.
Let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner of your eyes. So I pick my heart up.
And we are back. Did you guys like that last little part? I like that when the logo comes in with the little fire and stuff like that. Guys, it's amazing. Let me tell you, I've created this. I don't know if many people know about it. I am a planner fanatic, right? in terms of like planners, physical planners, and stuff like that. So I have been really getting into this digital planner. So I used to love, I don't know if you remember, but I used to love the Franklin Covey planner. Now, Franklin Covey used to do seminars at different corporations, depending on where you worked at. And he would go and do seminar. They would have people do seminars and give you like these leather bound planners. And they were amazing. Like you can get them at different sizes. And it literally, he teaches the seminars, teach you how to do time management and how to manage your day in these planners. And so I've always liked them. And now we're in the digital world. Now everybody's doing digital calendars. So I have created the Wisdom Purpose Planner and Journal, and you guys got to get it. Go to the website www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. I have extended the sale throughout the weekend. It's $12.95, guys. It's a 72-page digital planner where you can actually journal your thoughts and plan your day. So make sure you go to the website and check it out. But we are back here with Kayla Craven, the confidence coach. So Kayla, we left the commercial talking about how much of an impact that we can make when we connect with other people. And I wanted you to talk to us and elaborate on, because now you're a confidence coach, and the pandemic has been, I heard you say during the first part that when the pandemic started, that was your opportunity to really step into this zone of coaching. So talk to us about what you do and why coaching and why confidence coaching.
Yeah, so when I started like a coaching, like I mentioned, I didn't have any background in the coach, no degree or whatever, no knowledge in the business. So it was like a really challenge for me because I need to work through the course. When I was searching, I found like a academy, one in America and another here in the UK, and I had to choose which one will I go with. And then I decided to choose in the UK. I was like, I'm here, it's close, so I will decide to go with the lady in here. And I went to go through the studying, but with the coaching thing, what happened is, while you are studying, you are mastering the material, you are working yourself as well. It's not like, okay, I'm becoming coach, I will be seeing the transformation of my client, but you are not changing. So the transformation starts with you. And in the beginning, I was struggling because of my lack of confidence. My self-esteem was low. I didn't know like the value that I have. My self-worth was like below. So I had to start to go slow step working on myself. Because there was period that I felt like, oh, I feel empowered and killing it all. And the other time I feel like, where is my energy? What's going on? What's going on? So it's something like a daily routine. If I was missing it, I would start my day with the energy already drained off, not feeling like empowered, energetic. So when I'm speaking, I always love to laugh, and the energy, I love that.
Yeah.
So when I'm not working on my mindset, I feel disempowered. I feel like, oh my God, the thing is not happening for me. You start to say the thing should be happening to me. When all the bad stuff happen in your life, you said all the things happen to me rather for me. So for me was to working through step by step in my self-confidence, work through on the self-esteem, learn how to love myself again, because even though I was in the box for these 4 years, what happened is I was attracting the bad people, not bad people, let's say, the relations, unavailable people, men to my life, because of my self-worth. It's something like we believe that is not not matching. It's something like it's magnetic. The way you are feeling, you will be attracting those kind of people to your life. It's kind of like it's written in your forehead, like
yeah.
self-worth, no value yourself, like no love at all whatsoever. So I was like my frequency was matching to the people that wasn't available, and I had to
Mm.
love myself over those men that was coming to my life. I had, and it's
Mm.
kind of like an onion, the
Mm.
layers. The more you dig in, the more you work on
Mm.
your life, it will be like unfold more and more and more. So
Mm.
there was stage that I thought, okay, I love myself enough already.
Mm-hmm.
And when I move forward, it's like I will be facing challenge that maybe
Mm.
not. There is some more work that need to be done here. So it was
Wow.
more about this on my journey as a learning how to become a coach.
Mm.
And there was a time like I still, because I was still working full time and the coaching business. I didn't have time for my son. I didn't have the
Mm.
opportunity to pick him up from school or drop him out. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God, I am so grateful that I have my family next to me, and they was
Nice.
able to support on this part and pick him up in the school and drop him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling like my time was slipping from my hand. I didn't have like
Mm.
a time for nothing. Go for work 40 hours a week, come back from
Wow.
home. I would have like this 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, like to give my son food and put him to sleep. And the day go by. It's like who is
More
stealing
of
my
our
time?
lives.
Who is
Mm-hmm.
stealing my time? So it was more like that. So I decided to do the part time on my work and focus more in the business. So
Mm.
I was able to conclude my certification
Mm-hmm.
and start practicing with the client. And they
Mm-hmm.
would be telling like how was they feeling by the end of the day. But I
Mm.
wasn't having the discipline that. When you want to see the transformation somebody else, this transformation need to start from yourself. But what happened is I had to change my mindset in regarding to my starting day. I was just like I didn't like meditation. I didn't like journaling. For me, it's like, why would I do that? It's not important, It's not important. And then I came to realization that those things was missing, and it is key
Mm.
component if you
Mm-hmm.
want to build your strength as to have that
Mm-hmm.
kind of confidence, like you want to appear to others, you want to show up to others.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to implement like that the strong foundation of my daily routine. This is when the transformation really start to begin, when I start to feel like now I'm feeling much better with myself. Now I feel like this bridge is like is filling up, because it's always work in progress. You cannot say,
Mm.
okay, I am confident, yes, and I will feel positive every single day. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
We are
Right.
women being, and there is day that you will feel less empowered, and you need to
Mm.
know when you feel less empowered what you need in that time. Is not blame yourself or not feeling guilt. Is give yourself the love that
Mm-hmm.
you need and want, because
Right.
sometimes we believe like the love should come from other people
Mm.
so that you will feel that kind of love. But
Mm.
the truth is, the love that you are looking out there, it should come from yourself. This is where I start to look for God, because on
Mm-hmm.
those period, I kind of turn back to God, like,
Mm.
and decide like I'm alone. And now I
Mm-hmm.
start to look for God again, because I know that if I need support, is there always 24/7
Mm.
over there looking for me, supporting me, and giving the strength I need. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do now, God is first.
Right.
You know, if I am starting the live with you, God is first. I will ask
Absolutely.
Him to lead my conversation, to lead me.
Mm.
This is
Mm.
when I start to finally feel like fulfillment inside,
Mm.
because before was this void, this emptiness, this
Mm.
stress all the time, the anxiety all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I could get better, like a quick, and then fail back to the pattern, like feel sorry for myself, not feeling good
Mm.
enough, not feeling valuable, not feeling
Mm-hmm.
worthy. The self-esteem like
Absolutely.
below the zero. But with God by my side, I know that He's there supporting me and is everything I need. And again, discipline. What are you feeding your mind with? Right? What are the daily routine that you have in place, and who you are surrounded by? Who are you surrounded
Absolutely.
by? So when you was
Absolutely.
mentioned about like seeing me, like coming out for the shelf and shine, is absolutely true, because when you invite me to make part of the dinner with the coach, I was like, oh my God, I don't feel comfortable to do it. You know, will I be able to speak or something like that? And then I said, just do it and see, because it's
Mm.
more about observation as well, and
Mhm.
how you feed your mind, and allow God to do the download, and you speak your truth,
Right.
right?
Right. That's the key word. Allow God to do the download. And I think something that I'm learning, and I say learning because I have to constantly remind myself, as I go through different circumstances in my life, is that I realize that the things that we go through and how we go through it helps. If we were to journal, if we were to hold a record of the emotional part of what we did, of what we dealt with and how we dealt with it, and we knew that there was a reason for it, I think it'll be a lot. It doesn't mean it'll take away from the pain of how you may feel in the midst of it, but it will help us to recover quickly. I remember when my husband passed away 5 years ago. It's been 5 years, May 16th, May the 5th, 2016. And he was killed in a brutal car accident. And
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, thank you. And I remember the conversations that we had before, like a couple of days before he passed, and we were discussing eternal things. Like we were discussing, like we would be up and we were both working at night, and we were discussing things like as God revealed them to us. And I remember saying, what if God only gave us a certain amount of time to live, and we only identify what it is that we're supposed to do within that last 2 years before we passed away? Because we don't know, it's appointed unto every man to die and then the judgment. So we don't know, when our time is going to be. But I started thinking, I remember I was pondering, well, what if you only have 2 years left or 1 year left, and you figure out what your purpose is, and God gives you 41 years, and you find out 1 year before you think about all those years. It's almost like you had all those years where you were either, you can look at it as prepping years, or you can look at it as wasted years. It's all going to be determined how you perceive it. And it's funny because he passed away a couple of days later. And it's funny that of all the things that I grieved about, I grieved more about the awareness that God showed me. I was so devastated. Yeah, I was devastated that he passed. I was devastated at his transitioning and how I had to adapt to this new life without him, with being pregnant. But I was thinking about the fact that the conversations that we had before then. So when it came time to actually, hold the funeral and stuff, like the homegoing and stuff, I spent more of the next couple of months thinking about the conversation that we had regarding destiny than I did about any other thing that we've talked about. And what I realize is that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail. And what I realized is I stopped. What happened was it caused me to not plan anything in my life. I didn't want to plan anything because I felt like, oh, well, it's gonna, we all gonna die. He's gonna appoint us every man to die anyway. So we just might as well just not even plan nothing, because it ain't like, he's gonna do what he want anyway. So why plan it? Just live and just let him do whatever. Not realizing that I did more thinking in my husband's passing than I did grieving. And there were people around me that were concerned that I wasn't really grieving, but because they were like, you're not and I had my moments. I had my moments, and I still sometimes have moments. But what I realized is I did more thinking, and I realized really early, even in my teenage years, that every time I go through something in life, whether it's growing in an area of my mind or growing in an area of any other part of my life, I realize that your perspective, you can either look at the glass half full or it can be half empty. And how you determine that perspective or whatever it is that you go through will determine whether you it will be the determining factor whether you lose it and go over the cuckoo's nest, or whether you stand firm and just go through the process and say, I'm going to get through this no matter how tough it is. And I have to say that to myself every time something happens in my life, because sometimes we have things that go in our life and we be like, dang, I can't even catch a breath. This happens, it's like, oh my gosh, now this happens. And I had to really learn, and then I will go through those moments, or how some people say those aha moments. For me, I was realizing that everything, whether it's something we're becoming or whether it's something that we're learning, it's all about perspective. Your perspective sets the stage for your confidence. Because if you start to think that, yeah, I am a conqueror through Jesus Christ, and there are some things that I lack, or that I need help with, but you know what? I'm getting through it. Or you start to have the mindset to where you say, you know what? Yeah, that may be the truth about that, but that's not the fact. That's the truth that this happened to me, but that is not the fact. Because that happened, but that doesn't mean that is my eternal destiny. And so when we begin to take control and take our thoughts captive, and we begin to take back our power and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get through this, and be like David. David encouraged himself in the Lord at a very difficult time in his life. He encouraged himself when he lost everything and had people looking at him like, it's because of you that we lost our families. It's because of you that we lost everything. David encouraged himself in the Lord. And sometimes in order to walk in that confidence, there has to be a level of encouragement. You have to be encouraged. You have to encourage yourself. Because guess what? Coach Kayla is not going to always be around. Coach Nadira is not going to be around. And guess what? Whoever else you may look up to may not all be around, because sometimes in the deepest, darkest moments, you are alone with just you and God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more with you, because sometimes the people think and believe like I want to become more confident, and they believe it's like a quick fix to become more confident. It's the same as business. They believe like the business will be overnight become successful. So if you know any that is becoming successful this way, so please let me know, because everything takes time. And a little step by step, you will get there. And there is no such a thing as fake until you make it. When it comes to feel good, right? How long will you fake it? And it's something like internal, it's not external. You can fake the smile, but you cannot fake how you are feeling inside.
That's true.
So when it comes to you building your confidence, is not such a thing as overnight or quick fix. It need take time. It need take step. It's like I start the coaching business, but I wasn't focused on my mindset, which was part of the daily routine. I was like that. I had to go back there and realize like this point need to be addressed. If you don't work in this point, the transformation is not gonna take place. Where is the love you are giving yourself, rather than wait for other people to give you love? Why you need this external validation when you can validate yourself, give yourself the love you're looking for, and believing like a God's love you? It is right, and you just need to accept this abundance that He's providing to you. Like you said, mention is the perspective, right? How you view yourself, how you view where you are at the moment. And sometimes all you need to do is accept. It's not accepting the fact that all the bad things happen to you, but is accept that it's okay and it's not permanent. And you can change, you can transform, you can stand in your power, you can shine your light, but just don't choose to be in the darkness forever.
Right. Kayla, as an expert in your industry, why confidence? Why do you think that people struggle with being confident?
So for me, why confidence is because I seen people with so much talent and skill and not
Mm,
being able to stand in their power. I think that there is this gap in the society, in the market, that I want to pull the people and tell
mm,
them like, hey, hello, you are alone enough and you have this gift that you need to bring to the surface. You need to show the world how amazing you are. So this was the key component for the confidence, because when I start, I wanted to be self-love coach,
mm,
self-love and confidence. And then I
mm,
was like, change I changed to something success and
mm,
confidence. I was
mhm.
like, the confidence is always there, you know.
I want to be a success. No, confident, but you need both. So let's just do confidence.
Exactly. So I said, you know what? Let's stay with the confidence because the world needs that. I want to see people shine the light, stand in their
Yes.
power. That's
Yes.
when I was working with Odette, and we was just discussing, and this phrase just came: stand up for your life. And I was like, that's it, I will just create a podcast with that name, stand
Yes.
up
I
for your
like
life.
that. You should do that. You should do that. I like the name. I like the thought. And you should really seriously do that. Stand up for your life. Stand up, girl. Stand up for your life. I think that's what's needed. I think women suffer. We because we're emotional creatures. I think we struggle the most with being able to. Now we're in an industry where we're able to do things boldly. Now we're able to do things that we weren't able to do before. And so now that the doors are opening and we're able to do things that maybe, the men dominated in previous centuries before us, now the door has opened for us to be our true authentic self. And sometimes people struggle with that. And I think that's why where you come in and your gift is important, because you helping us to be reminded that we're fully capable of doing whatever it is that's on the inside of us. And I think most of us struggle because when you come from a background or an environment where it's not encouraged, it can be difficult to push past those barriers, because it's like the law of first truth. If your mother tells you that the sky is purple all your life, and somebody comes and tells you that your mother is wrong and that the sky is actually yellow or blue, then you start to feel like, no, because this is what I've learned all my life. No, it is that. It is the law of first truth. And so I think it's important for us to understand that as we're growing and as we're learning, that we make sure that our confidence, and it's funny because Sean always tells us this, as your competence grows, your confidence will grow. So the more you become aware really of your gifts and talents, that's really the competence comes. I mean, I think there's some things on the inside of us, because the Bible says your gift will make room for you and it'll bring you before kings. There's some things that are on the inside of us, and I talked about that, how your gift is perfect. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. The only thing we need perfecting is our talents and our application of how we apply our talents, but our gift is perfect. Every good and
Absolutely.
perfect gift comes from above. And so when we realize that we already come packaged with everything that we need to be who we are, the fish doesn't go to fish school to learn how to swim. You know, the eagle doesn't go to eagle school to learn how to fly, because the will of God is made known to us intuitively. There are some things that God put on the inside of us that we can become confident of this one thing, that he that begun a good work in us will perform it to the day of Jesus Christ. There are some things that God is going to perform in our life that's going to happen. And it is a yes and an amen. It is a yes
Absolutely.
and an amen. So you might as well get on the board now before you be mad that you didn't jump on board years ago when he showed it to you. And I'm just really excited to be able to have you here and to really listen to your story, because I know that we're part of the same community and we've been, partnering in so many different adventures. It's really good to get to know you up close and personal and get to see some of the things that you struggle with and some of the things and your reasons why you are who you are and your reasons on why you become the woman that you are today. And so I'm just really grateful, Kayla, for you joining us here on Sisterhood Checkin and spending your Fridays with us. Did you have anything that you want to say before we actually go into the customers, before we go into the audience? Listen to me. I'm already thinking like closing like a leader. I'm like, customers.
Let's go.
You guys, if you have, I want to make sure that I wanted to make an announcement to, if you guys are on this Friday, on this Saturday, I think it's Saturday and Sunday, we're doing a 2-day challenge in the Closing Like a Leader program. Guys, you don't want to miss this. It is amazing. If you have not been a part of the community that we have been a part of, the Coaching Like a Leader, the Branding Like a Leader, Sean Raiz is the king of branding when it comes to helping you be able to develop clarity in your gift. He is the king of branding. So make sure you join us. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's this Saturday and Sunday between the hours of 9 to 12. You can go to bit.ly/CLAL challenge. And I'll leave the link down at the bottom before we close. So Kayla, do you have anything that you want to say before we actually end the broadcast?
I just want to say that you don't need to be living in the shadow or hiding yourself anymore as a person or hiding yourself behind the curtain. Because what happened is the people feeling the fear and feel scared. I'm listening to my voice double. Sorry. So yeah, so you feel the fear and you holding yourself back. I just want to remind you that you already have the gift and you just need someone to tackle in and tap you on the shoulder and show you that you can shine your light and stand in your power and speak your truth. So don't hold yourself back and become the woman or the man you decided long ago, because God already gave you the gift. You just need to be able to check in and bring it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you heard it from the coach herself. If you guys want, if you guys can reach Kayla at www.kaylakravit.com. You can also check her out. She is the queen. I'm telling you, this girl, you got to see her on IG. I'm telling you, she makes some really great IG reels and commercials and stuff like that. She's always encouraging. It's just amazing. You just got to visit her. Her IG handle is at I am Kayla Kravit. Make sure you visit her on Instagram, and don't forget to join us on Sunday, as Kayla is going to be one of the coaches joining us on Dinner with the Coaches at 7 p.m. Also, I wanted to make an announcement also alongside of all the things that we're talking about this Saturday. Every Saturday I have committed to doing a class on helping. These are what I consider to be life classes. And so over the past couple of weeks, we've done how to make your video pop. I love to do that part. We've done a video, how to make your video pop. We've talked about how to create digital products with ease and how to create and monetize your broadcast or podcast. This Saturday, we are going to be talking about how to make money now. How many of y'all need money like now? Raise your hand. Like, how many of y'all need money now? So I'm going to show you some techniques and things that you can do to generate income now. So make sure you go to the website, www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. And I am your author and coach, Nadira Lewis. I help people take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to get your digital calendar. Visit my website at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. And I will see you on Saturday. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Have you downloaded your Wisdom Digital Planner and Journal? If not, it's still time. Shop now at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com.
Let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner of your eye.